People used to treat me like I was nothing, but on that one ordinary Tuesday night, everything changed. My name is Kesha, an 18-year-old with dreams of serving my country in the National Security Bureau. I was exhilarated, on the cusp of a future I had worked so hard to create, when a seemingly simple walk home turned into a nightmare. The sirens wailed, the lights flashed red and blue. Two police officers commanded me to stop. Fear gripped me as I raised my hands, heart racing, trying to project the calm confidence I'd rehearsed 1,000 times. "You're under arrest for robbery," one officer spat, tossing my belongings as if they were evidence of my guilt. I felt like a ghost, watching my dreams crumble. But then, through the chaos, I clutched my NSB badge, a glimmer of hope in a storm of disbelief. Position. Later, confined in a cold, sterile room, I called my mom. Her voice trembled through the line, laden with anxiety. "Stay strong, Kesha," she urged, but I could hear the worry clawing at her heart. My lawyer, Mr. Granger, advised silence, but doubts seeped in as a so-called witness concocted lies against me, and I felt the weight of judgment suffocating me. When the courtroom doors swung open, the air crackled with tension. Handcuffed and terrified, I faced the malice of accusation. Witness after witness spoke, but as my supporters rallied, teachers, my coach, something shifted. And then Ms. Bennett from the NSB arrived, her presence validating not just my badge, but my very existence. When the judge dismissed the charges, disbelief washed over me, but it wasn't over. Investigations into the officers began, revealing a corruption that rippled through the very foundation of justice. As I walked home, liberated yet scarred, I grasped my badge tighter. I had transformed, and through my ordeal, I learned resilience. Tay's story stands as a testament. The world may judge, but it's our truth that defines us. In the face of injustice, we must rise, our voices echoing against silence. "Stop right there!" A police cruiser screeched to a halt beside Kesha, blaring lights cutting through the evening calm. She froze, fingers twitching against her side. Sweat trickled down her back. "What did I do?" she stammered, the innocence in her tone lost to the gravel of the street. "Don't move! You fit the description of a robbery suspect. Hands up!" The older officer barked, eyes sharp and judgmental. Kesha raised her hands, palms open, heart racing. I just got off work. I'm heading home," she pleaded. But the young officer, only a couple of years older than her, stepped forward like a predator, snatching her backpack and tossing it to the ground. Her belongings spilled out, a notebook, her NSB badge glinting under the streetlights. "Taj? A badge? You think you can flash this at us and walk away?" he sneered, kicking her stuff aside. "You're a criminal, not some secret agent." "Please, I swear," Keisha's voice cracked, panic clawing at her chest. "I'm just a student. I didn't do anything." "Sure, we've heard that story before," the older officer growled, his gaze heavy and suffocating. "Get in the car." Inside the cold, sterile cell hours later, Keisha dialed her mother, the tremor in her voice ringing loud in her ears. "Mom, I'm scared. They think I'm a robber." Her mother's voice trembled. "I know, baby. Just hold on. We're gonna fight this." Then Mr. Granger appeared, his brows knitted with concern. "Keisha, stay quiet. They'll try to twist your words." 2 nights later, in a courtroom filled with tension, Keisha's heart dropped as a witness claimed to have seen her commit the crime. But as Mr. Granger cross-examined, the facade crumbled. Her community stood by her, their voices rising in her defense, until Ms. Bennett stepped forward, holding Kesha's badge high, declaring, "This girl is no criminal." As the judge dismissed the charges, Kesha felt a tide of relief wash over her. Yet the scars of the injustice cut deep. As she left the court, her badge felt heavier, no longer just a symbol of her dreams, but a testament of resilience in the face of prejudice. The evening air felt heavy as Kesha rounded the corner of her street, her heart light with the promise of her new job. The National Security Bureau had finally recognized her potential, and the weight of their trust felt as thrilling as it was daunting. Suddenly, a police car screeched to a halt beside her, lights flashing starkly against the dusk. Panic gripped her as 2 officers stepped out, their stances rigid and commanding. "Stabilized, right there," one shouted, his voice booming with authority. Kesha's heart raced as she raised her hands instinctively, confusion swirling in her mind. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tremor inside. They accused her of robbery? She could barely process the words. They rifled through her belongings, throwing her hopes to the ground as they sneered. Among the scattered items was her NSB badge, glinting in the fading light like a beacon of hope turned cruel mockery. The officers exchanged glances, laughter on the edge of their lips. In that moment, the world around her blurred, but in her heart, frustration began to boil. Detention felt like a cruel twist of fate. She sat cold and alone, the world's noise deafening her pleas for understanding. A call to her mother shattered her silence, exposing a fear she had shielded from the world. Kesha tried to cling to Mr. Granger's advice, stay silent, remain strong, but doubt threatened to overwhelm her. As the courtroom doors creaked open, Kesha was ushered in, shackled, the weight of false accusations heavy on her soul. She didn't know it yet, but change was looming on the horizon, and she could almost taste it. Tonight, she would either fade away or find her voice. Kesha straightened her posture, feeling the weight of her NSB badge in her pocket. The events of the last few days had dragged her down, but now she took a breath and exhaled the remnants of fear. "You think I'm a thief?" she said, her voice steady, meeting the police officer's eyes. "I'm not just anyone. I work hard for my future." The officer's disbelief faltered as Kesha stepped closer, the badge now pinned proudly on her jacket. "I was just walking home, excited about my first day," she continued, her tone unwavering. There was power in this small act of defiance. After the courtroom ruling, as Kesha walked out free but shaken, she couldn't shake off the support wrapped around her like a warm blanket. Her coach had testified. The teachers had stood by her. "You've got this, Kesha," they had said, words echoing in her mind like a mantra. "Can we talk about what happened?" asked Mr. Granger, his voice low but firm. "This isn't just about you, it's about what they did." Finally, a sense of clarity washed over her. They were not just fighting for her, they were fighting against the bigger issues that loomed over countless others. "I want to pursue this," Kesha declared, the courage bubbling within her. "It's time we hold people accountable." She clutched her badge, ready to reclaim control of her narrative, her identity no longer clouded by another's prejudice. The quiet confidence in her derailed doubt, planting seeds of a powerful comeback poised to flourish. Kesha stood in the courtroom, the weight of 1,000 eyes upon her. Handcuffed, she felt like a ghost in her own life, the nervous chatter and shuffling papers swirling around her like an ominous storm. Just behind the wooden barrier, 2 police officers leaned against the wall, a mix of arrogance and disdain on their faces. They thought they had crushed her, a young black girl accused of a robbery that never happened. As the witness Ray stepped forward, Kesha clenched her fists. His testimony was laced with lies, fabricated slander that painted her as the villain. But Mr. Granger, her lawyer, was a steady presence beside her, urging her to hold on to her dignity. With unwavering resolve, he dismantled Ray's claims, exposing inconsistencies that made the courtroom murmur. Fastball, then, the atmosphere transformed when Miss Bennett, a high-ranking official from the NSB, entered the fray. She strode in with authority, her presence electrifying the room. Producing Kesha's NSB badge, she spoke of integrity and commitment, drawing a stark contrast to Ray's shaky facade. Silence enveloped the courtroom as the judge nodded, recognizing Kesha's truth. The gavel fell decisively, charges dismissed. Time slowed as Kesha felt the shackles of fear slip away. Her heart raced, disbelief flooding in, mixing with an exhilarating sense of freedom. As she stood, tears brimming, she focused not on the 2 officers, but the outpouring of support from her community, her teachers, her coach, friends who had fought for her truth alongside her. They met her gaze with pride, their applause forming a gentle wave of validation. Outside, whispers of irony played out as reports of the officers' misconduct surfaced. Ray, now exposed as a paid witness, was cornered by a flood of public outrage. Kesha heard them talk, the tide turning against the men who had tried to diminish her worth. Walking home, badge clutched tightly to her heart, she absorbed their reactions, a mixture of apologies and defensiveness from those who had judged her. Each step was a testament to her resilience, a profound shift from victim to victor. Till Kesha was reborn in this moment, not through revenge, but through unwavering determination. Ready to rise up, she carried her badge as a symbol of a new fight. Justice, recently uncovered, but still a journey ahead. The quiet triumph within her sang louder than any applause as she stepped forward, ready to embrace her future. Keisha walked home under the fading light, her NSB badge gleaming against the backdrop of a world that had turned upside down just days earlier. The panic of that night echoed within her, igniting a fire in her heart. While the accusations of robbery felt hollow against her dreams, the experience carved wisdom into her spirit. Fear had transformed into resolve. Looking back, she realized how deeply ingrained biases had shaped moments that could have robbed her of her future. The community rallied and support blossomed, her true character shone as bright as the badge she carried. But did she truly understand the weight of her newfound knowledge? "Do you think I went too far?" she pondered quietly, reflecting on the pursuit of justice and the shadows of judgment that lingered over her. Now she invites you to weigh in. Have you ever faced someone's prejudice? What would you have done in her shoes? Share your experiences in the comments and join the conversation about power, justice, and the resilience that binds us all. Your story matters.